Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, where in a single moment you recognize your brilliance and you can change your life. This is a transformational hour that covers an array of topics that demonstrate how individuals use their native talents, as shown in their name, to look at the ordinary in extraordinary ways. Now, I always remind you that Albert Einstein once said that everybody's a genius. Why would one of the smartest people on the planet declare that everyone is a genius unless he knew that to be true? I'm your host, Sharon Lynn Wyeth, creator of Namology Science and author of Know the Name, Know the Person. In each weekly show, you get to hear how other people have discovered their own genius and what they were able to accomplish. You also get to hear clues that can be found in your name on how you can recognize your own innate genius at the end of each show. So how does someone express their creative talents? And how does someone share those gifts with others in such a way that everybody benefits? Our expert tonight is Dr. Gregory Williams, who has developed his genius in the area of helping individuals cope with having been bullied or having child abused, and how to identify if your child is going through any of those experiences. Now, Dr. Gregory Williams is on the administrative leadership team at Baylor College of Medicine, OB-GYN Department, which is located in Texas. The Children's Hospital there in the heart of the Texas Medical Center in Houston, Texas. He has a PhD in counseling and is a well-known speaker and teacher. He's the author of the book Shattered by the Darkness, Putting the Pieces Back Together After Child Abuse. Currently, he travels the country speaking to thousands of people on child abuse, the aftermaths of abuse, the detection and recognition of abuse, and the importance of adverse childhood experiences. He's been featured on Fox News, ABC News, and many radio shows and podcasts around the world. He is the head of the Baylor College of Medicine's pilot program, which is in conjunction with Emory College and the University of San Diego Medical School, in developing curriculum for medical schools to incorporate the ACE's training at the residency fellowship levels. Welcome to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You radio show, Gregory.
Hey, good evening, Sharon. How are you tonight? I can't believe I do all that stuff. Is all that true?
Of course it is. Now, Gregory, I realize that
Yeah.
child abuse encompasses many categories. So, in this first segment, I'd like to address the sexual abuse and the pornography, as it is certainly making headlines in the news today. So, prior to getting into your personal story, I'd like to ask, why is it so important that people deal with their childhood sexual abuse, and what is the result if they don't?
Well, that is one of the probably the major questions right now that I think a lot of people are asking themselves, because it seems like every day on the front page of the newspapers and magazines and uh, USA Today online and all of those different news sources, you're seeing some type of group, some type of organization, the Boy Scouts, the Catholic Church, the Baptist Church, what Jeffrey Epstein, they have just discovered, that private island of a billionaire's island that he had off a secluded place where people were being abused. I think right now people are going through and understanding that something that happened to them as a child that they thought that they had hid away and locked up tight in a closet was going to stay secret all their life and it wouldn't have any effect on them. But they lived through it. Now let's forget about it and pretend it didn't happen. And now they're starting to discover that all of those childhood traumas that happens to someone when they're 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and nothing is ever dealt with that, and it's just ignored and put away, ends up coming back into the adult of that person in numerous ways that can be so unhealthy. For instance, with me, I kept my story silent for 30, 35 years, and eventually my heart gave out. And the doctors, when they discovered that, said, Greg, we have no idea, no medical reason why your heart valve went bad, but we'll fix this one, and hopefully it won't happen again. But there's nothing medically wrong with you that would have caused that. But let's see what happens. And when I started writing my book, I had one of the doctors at Texas Children's Hospital read the manuscript, and Dr. Greeley said, Greg, did they ever find out what was wrong with your heart? And I said, no. They just fixed it and hoped nothing else went bad. He said, well, I'll tell you what, have you ever heard of ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences? And I said, no. And he said, that's exactly what was going on, that toxic stress, that trauma that you dealt with as a child, you never had a buffer, an adult buffer that would come in and help you deal with that core problem. And because of that, that inside stress, that inside, kind of like a 2-liter Coke bottle, just being shaken up year after year after year, eventually just popped and it just exploded. And they're finding out now, and on these research studies that's been going on for several years, that childhood trauma, undealt with, unfaced, if you didn't get any kind of help at all in that trauma and you kept it quiet, is coming out in people with obesity, sugar diabetes, heart disease, stroke, depression, suicide attempts, alcoholism, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And so it's important that whatever you have had happen in your life, if you haven't experienced talking it through and getting help for that trauma, it may come out later on in life. So it's important that you deal with that. So I think that back to your question, I know that was a long answer, but back to your question, I think it's important that whether it's one instance or years of sexual abuse that I dealt with for over 12 years daily, that one instance can become so unhealthy and affect your longevity when you're older as an adult. So it's important that we deal with this subject right now. And I think the iron is hot right now on this subject.
Absolutely. And as you were saying that the Epstein thing is just coming out, but I think people in Florida, because when I lived in Florida, everybody knew about his island.
Isn't that something?
And it was just taken as that's part of life down here, which is really sad. And in the classroom, we used to say, let's look at keeping privates private. Let's look at that, when the kids would come and talk with us during their lunch breaks and say how important it is to have their own morality and be able to voice their feelings and their opinions.
Sharon, I think because I think we're probably in the same age category, post World War II homes did not discuss what happened in their homes outside their homes. I remember vividly what happens in this house stays in this house.
I had that same thing.
Yes. So just now with the Me Too movement, with Larry Nassar with the Olympics, and now the ice skating Olympics are starting to go through some kind of situations with the Catholic Church, with the Baptist Church, with the Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
with
it's prevalent.
And so there's a positive on the other side of this. Now everybody's talking about it. So if you're a counselor, if you're a therapist, if you are in the medical field of that type of business, they're going to be lined up out your door, I hope, to get help, because now everybody's starting to understand, wait, I was abused too, and I need to get some help.
Maybe it's a wrong equation. You can enlighten me if it is, but I think that in our history, there was a time when we were talking about slavery and treating one race different than another. And eventually, hopefully, we've gone through the period where we realize that everybody's equal. Yeah. Okay. And that hopefully slavery is diminishing around the world. I'm not sure it is, but it looks like it is, even though it's still existing. And yet it's diminishing. And I'm really hoping that in this sexual abuse issues as they're going on now, that this kind of awareness will make this also diminish in our future, where people will realize this is just wrong.
It is, and it's literally an epidemic. And I don't think we have even close to the right statistics on it right now. They're claiming, and you can get any type of numbers off the internet you want, but they're claiming, the professionals are saying, 1 out of every 4 girls before the age of 18 have been sexually abused, and 1 out of every 6 boys have been sexually abused. I don't think that number is even close. Every time when I go out and talk at all the conferences in front of hundreds and even thousands of people, I always start every session with, if you are in a situation where you know of no one in your family or friend circle that has ever been sexually abused, can you please stand up? Not one person has ever stood up in all of the speeches that I've given around the country. Everybody knows someone that has been affected.
Gregory, I was at one school, I've taught at different schools. I was at one school where when I came in and was saying the abuse that was going on in my home, and I came in and said that, I was a teacher there, and every single female teacher in that entire school said that they had been sexually abused or physically abused in some way as a child or as a wife. I was horrified. Absolutely. Anyway, we need to take our first break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on the X Zone Broadcast Network and at knowthename.com. And after the break, we're going to find out a few ways you can tell if your child or friend is being bullied or abused and what you can do about it. Stay tuned.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and X Zone Broadcast Network, and there's a link on knowthename.com. Now, our guest tonight is Dr. Gregory Williams, whose website is Shattered by the Darkness, which is the same as the title of his book. And I will tell you, it's a very powerful book. Have your Kleenex ready when you're reading it. I'd like to focus this segment on the topic of the possibility of your child being bullied. But before we start that, I've got to throw this in here. And this is the part of the show where we analyze our guest's name. Are you ready, Gregory?
Yes, I've been waiting for this, so please just take all the time you want, Sharon.
Well, I do this very quickly. I'm happy to do more afterwards. First of all, in your name, it says that you have a tendency to be a detective, that you want to get to the bottom of things. You're looking for the beauty in the world. You'll notice if a picture's crooked, you'll go by and straighten it out. You'll notice if something that somebody's wearing isn't quite right for the occasion, or if it's not clean or somebody hasn't been taken care of. You always want to know everybody's background story because you've got a lot of curiosity in your name. You also have fairness issues in your name, where you've learned how to stand up for others as well as stand up for yourself. And you have likability all the way through your name where you can get along with anybody. The most interesting thing in your name, though, is you have the combination that says that you would be a victim and that it's still there in your name. So it shifts on how you can be victimized, but it's still there. So hopefully you've really learned how to consider safety first everywhere you're going. It also says you don't like to have the same experience twice. You'd rather learn from it the first time and go on. Anyway, that's some of what's in your name.
Well, you hit that right on the money.
Yeah. You also a factor for change, which I really like. And you also have seeking the truth in your name, that's very important to you, that you don't like to deal with people that aren't honest.
Oh, my Lance, that is my biggest pet peeve. Do not lie to me. That is so right.
Right. But I like the fact that both victimization from what you've gone through, it's literally showing up in your name, and that you're a factor of change. So you've been able to take that, change it for yourself, and help others also change it. So getting on with the questions, I have so many for you. How can you tell if your child or someone you care about is being bullied or abused?
Yeah. Sharon, I that's a $64,000 question, but I think there's some obvious red flags that should alert. Now, it depends on the age of the child, of course. I mean, if it's a preschool child, I just came back from a Texas teachers convention and was talking to people that deal with 3, 4, 5-year-olds. It's a little different there, obviously. If they have any type of bedwetting that's out of the normal, if they have any type of, when you take them to the bathroom, that they have pain in going to the bathroom or things of that order. But when it's talking to somebody more on the preteen, mid-teen area, the 9, 10, 11, 12 in that area, there's a couple things I would really be careful and alert on. One would be any type of abrupt change with their association with people, with their personality, with their grades, with outburst of anger, with agitation, with seclusion, where they just go to the room and they stay away from people. Any type of immediate change that has come out of the ordinary, it's like, whoa, what's wrong with Sam? He's not acting the same. Parents, I think we as parents need to put our cell phones down and just open our eyes. If we do that, we're going to see a lot of stuff that we've never even noticed before. But sometimes in this high, where everybody's got a laptop open and a cell phone going and the music blaring and TV on, and their own rush world, we don't pay attention. But if you just notice some of those signs, if there's any type of secretive behavior, I personally think that if they're on a cell phone and they have a cell phone, at any given time, you ought to be, as a parent, able to go pick up that phone and look at it. Take it out of their hand and go, oh, no, wait. The rule is I'm paying for this phone. I can look at it any time. And if they see any type of secretive stuff going online, things of that order, I think would be another red flag. There's just so many. But any type of changing of eating habits.
Okay, I've got another question in there.
Sure.
What about the kids? What about the kids that go and tell their parents that, like, Grandpa did this with me or whatnot, and I didn't like it, and the parent doesn't believe them because they don't want to believe that about their own parent?
They're saying right now, the research is about 93% of everyone that reports a child that reports it, it's true. So children just don't make this up. It's just not profoundly
they don't
researched.
know enough to make it up.
No, and I think we have a natural sense in us that God's created in us, that we know what we do like and don't like done to our own body. And I think when something that's not done that hurts or makes us uncomfortable, we just don't lie about that. I never told anybody. I'm not for sure anybody would have believed me, but nobody out of all my years ever asked me, Greg, are you okay? I'm not for sure I would have disclosed it, but to have a parent doubt or shame the person and say, oh, that didn't happen. Are you crazy? What are you trying to do? Hurt Grandpa or Uncle Charlie or whatever? No, believe them. It's just a fact that children don't make this up. That it's usually a reality when they share that.
Well, I can tell you, when I shared my mom, she considered me a liar from that day forward.
Oh.
And anything my sister said, even if they lied, that she would believe them over me because I had made up that horrible lie about her dad. There's ramifications.
Yeah, and I think as parents, why would you not believe your child? That's just so important, that when they share something that intimate and that hurtful, to add shame and guilt and doubt and calling them liars on top of that, literally, Sharon, and you are you're a witness of this, it adds fuel to the fire and pain to the hurt. And it should never have happened. That I apologize for that. I'm not in the place to do that, but that is such an added trauma on top of trauma.
Well, and I look at so many kids as they come into the classroom, and we never know. But as teachers, we suspect, and many times a child will come to a teacher first because they don't feel safe going to their parent. I want to turn the tables a little bit.
Sure.
Is there a way to easily identify the one who is doing the bullying? Is there any quality characteristics that are standing out that says this guy's an abusive person? I mean, I can see it in a person's name once you know how to analyze a name. But is there another way for people that don't know namology science to be able to say, I suspect this guy could be abusive? Or
not a lot of signs. I think I think the grooming of a child, especially from an adult that's abusing a child, the grooming has been so refined over the years that they're really good at it. But I do believe that if you keep an eye on people and they would take a child to be alone one-on-one. As a school teacher, Sharon, I don't know, back in those days, I remember when I went to grade school, you had solid wood doors with no windows on it. There should never be a solid wood door with no windows on any classroom in any school in the United States here on out. It should never be alone with a child.
They can't anymore, and the reason for it is they call it a fire hazard, and the firemen need to have a window to look at during fire drills and in case there's a fire. So at least that one is across the board. The states are now taking care of that. So really quickly, once we suspect abuse, how do you bring it up with your child or a friend in a way that they might be comfortable talking to you about it if you think that they're the victim of abuse?
Yeah, I think early education's the best key. I had somebody on my radio show Sunday night that has developed and written a series of books, and it's called I Can Do series. And it's a wonderful, almost, you remember those olden days of See Spot Run and Run Dick, Run Jane,
that
all
really
those,
ages us. Yes.
Yeah, it does. But those were awesome books. It's kind of like that. It's just a simple little book that you can actually read that the child would want to read at 3, 4, 5 years old. And then in the back it has some awesome teaching pages on the parenting of how to explain what the story was just about. And the first book, I believe, is called My Body's Mine. And it literally is life-changing. Every parent of a young child should have one or two of these books just to read and tell them what's appropriate touch and what's not appropriate touch.
Well, we used to call everything the privates when I was rearing my kids and saying that's private. That's because you only touch it in private and nobody else gets to touch it because it's your privates. Okay, we need to take another break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You. This show is dedicated to preventing, identifying, and healing from child abuse. And after the break, we're going to find out more from Dr. Gregory Williams on the topic of child abuse. Stay tuned.
How would your life change if you could develop the business and personal skills that you need in order to make more money? Do you want to learn how to achieve your big life goals faster? Then go to findhiddenmoney.com and get the Goal for It online course. The course teaches you how you can set and achieve your biggest goals while completely overcoming the roadblocks to your goals so that you can realize your dreams and imagine more success. Go to findhiddenmoney.com.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hyde's life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and X-Zone Broadcast Network. And there's a link on knowthename.com on the schedule page. Now, our guest tonight is Dr. Gregory Williams, an expert on child abuse. His website is the name of his book. It's called shatteredbythedarkness.com. Now, Gregory, you were just mentioning the series of I Can Do books with My Body's Mine. Do you know the author of that series?
I do, and she's become a great friend, her and her husband. Her name is Kayla, with a K, Kayla, Marnach, Marnach. And these are just wonderful little books that I promote, and I have nothing to do with this except I just believe in them. But you can get them on Amazon. It's the Can Do series, and you can just type in Kayla Marnach, and it shows that they last a lifetime. They're just beautifully done, and it just has some great tips in the back for the parents. And I think that's the key. I will
put that information on my website, so anybody that's going to knowthename.com on this Thursday show to find out how to get a hold of Dr. Gregory Williams, I will also have that information not only on Dr. Gregory Williams' book, Shattered by the Darkness, but also on Kayla Marnach's book. I'll put that down where you guys can find it on knowthename.com on the schedule page. So, Gregory, what's the difference between child abuse and being bullied?
Oh, well, one is the bullying is pressure, is more mental, is more of the emotional side of that kind of stress that comes from pressuring somebody, making fun of people, trying to get them to do stuff. And abuse is literally the touching, the act of doing something to someone physically in the sexual role, at least the sexual child abuse is. And there's a lot of similarities, but there's a big difference between the two, obviously.
Well, I saw kids in my classroom that appeared to be emotionally abandoned. Would you address this topic of emotional abandonment, what it looks like, and if it's considered child abuse?
Yeah, emotional abandonment could be the side of child abuse that is dealing with neglect, and child abuse is adding or doing something to someone that shouldn't be done to someone. Neglect is keeping something away from somebody that they should actually have access to. So neglect would be not feeding people properly, a home environment that isn't safe, dirty clothes, dirty water, just not a good hygiene situation to be in. But the abandonment of the emotion is where you have a parent or people that's raising children that just don't have the love and affection that goes out to their children and the people that they're taking care of. And children they're screaming for attention and love in this world. And it just irritates me so much when you go to a restaurant and you have the mom and dad not even talking to each other, let alone their kids, and everybody has a laptop or a phone, a little iPad or something, and there's just no communication. Our kids are starving for attention, one-on-one love, affection, and interaction, and they just don't get that anymore. When's the last time you taking your kids and go, hey, let's just go for a walk in the park? I don't even know if they do that anymore. It's like, hey, kids, get in front of the TV and play your video games, and at bedtime I'll let you know when to turn it off. That's not what parenting's all about.
And the smartest thing I think I ever did as a parent, and I became a single parent when my kids were 8 and 9, was right after that I took away the TV set and got it out of the house. And I think the grades went up. They learned to talk. They became more avid readers. I think actually out of everything I did as a parent, that was my smartest move.
I believe that to be true also. And, I think we are raising a generation or two of children that don't know how to communicate. And if they do, it's a text, LOL, or, WYD, what are you doing? And it's like they don't know how to talk, to communicate with each other. And parents need to take an active role of getting down on their level, looking at them straight in their eye. And I think if we do that, Sharon, some of the communication of the sexual abuse, the bullying will come out if you say, hey, I can tell something's wrong. Are you okay? What happened to you? This is what is, discuss sex with your child. Don't name body parts, funny
things.
Names. Yeah. And, don't ever keep a secret. Don't ever, there's some things that you just need to really have a tough discussion about with your children, because if you don't, somebody will.
Somebody will. And I've spoken with so many adults, Gregory, and what they all seem to have in common is that when we were kids, whatever happened to us in our household, we thought of that as normal. And we didn't consider anything different until we were old enough to start going to friends' houses. And because of that, and then we saw maybe they did things differently. But because of that, I'd like to know what actually is considered a normal upbringing, if such a thing exists.
I don't know if such a thing exists anymore, but I remember when I was 5, 6 years old in kindergarten and first grade, it literally ran through my mind. And I can even remember some of the kids that I remember wanting to ask but didn't. But I remember Larry was one of them. I wanted to ask Larry, hey, what's your dad do to you? Because I thought it was so normal what I was going through every day, almost, and sometimes 2 times a day, that every child went through that. I thought all my friends had dads that did this to them. I never learned that it was wrong until, like you said, I got out and was spending the night with friends every now and then. I didn't get a chance to do that very often, but you find out, wait, you don't do this, you don't do that. That it was just so strange. Yeah, whatever they grow up with, they think that's normalcy, and it's not.
Exactly. And so what can children do today if they feel that they are being abused or that something's going on in their home that they're uncomfortable with?
Yeah, I think God has instilled in us that gauge of, I don't feel right about this. And I think anytime that alarm, that bell goes off inside of us, and different people come up with different words, but if you have that yucky feeling or that sickening feeling, you just know it's not right. And if you're in the middle of that right now, go get help. Tell somebody. And I think that's so important, that you find somebody that you can trust, and hopefully it's your mom and dad. But if it is your mom and dad, or mom or dad that's doing it, tell somebody what's going on.
If children tell a teacher, by law, we have to report it.
Yeah.
So it gets reported.
And in the state of Texas, you don't have to be a teacher or a doctor or anyone. Everyone is a mandated reporter in the state of Texas. So if I'm at Walmart and I see something, I have to. It is mandated in the state of Texas that I report it. I think it's a wonderful law that if you think or suspect abuse, you are required to report it.
Now, I'm also aware that some very good-meaning people that are doing a great job with their children have reported abuse, and they've reported it on neighbors or whatnot when they've absolutely identified it as abuse. And those neighbors turn around and make up lies and report them just because they want to get even.
Yeah, and the system obviously isn't perfect, but they do visit the homes. They do reach out, and there's a lot of awesome county advocacy centers
Well, and not to be afraid that that's going to happen to you if that happens, because the people who do come out and check on the homes, they can recognize a good home.
Absolutely.
So what actions can we take as adults if our child or our friend is being bullied or abused by somebody else?
What actions? I think number one is report it. First, protect the child. Have that discussion with the child, get them help, get them therapy, counseling, get them, out of the situation, of course, but then deal with the person that it's coming from and report them. In my situation with my dad, he should have been arrested immediately and probably served prison time. But as you read my book, you find out that 4 of his friends that, along with my dad, that gang raped me several times. One was a police officer, one was an attorney, one was the host of the morning radio show in my hometown, and one was one of his friends. Who would have believed me when you have that kind of rampant abuse that was going on in my upper middle class, predominantly white, little small country town in southern Illinois. But I do think you have to protect them, get them out of it, and believe them, report it, and take action immediately.
I think that's the most important, is to take action immediately. We need to take our last break. Stay tuned to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You on xzbn.net and knowthename.com. Now, after the break, we're going to find out what Dr. Gregory Williams has in his name that has assisted him that you just might have in your name as well. Plus, we'll find out how Gregory Williams helps people recover if a victim of child abuse. Stay tuned.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. free video on demand, live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Welcome back. I'm Sharon Lynn Wyeth, and you're listening to Know the Name, Know the Genius in You, which is being heard on xzbn.net and X-Zone Broadcast Network and knowthename.com. Now, our guest tonight is Dr. Gregory Williams, who's developed his talents in the area of helping others deal with child abuse, whether they were the one abused or whether they watched somebody else being abused. You can reach Gregory versus his website, which is the name of his book, ShatteredbyTheDarkness.com. Now, Gregory, on this segment, I'd like to focus on healing from child abuse.
Oh.
So how does one even know that they need to heal, and how would one start to go about healing from child abuse?
Well, Sharon, that has been my, the last 2 years have been such a healing process for me, because I was literally quiet about my story for almost 35 years. So it was just a few years ago when my children even found out that I was ever abused. And just now, and I'm being honest, the last year, probably being able to go around the country and talk, I have discovered my healing. And every time I do this, like I get to talk with you or I get to speak to a group of people, and the after discussion probably is better than the actual seminars, because I love talking to people one-on-one. That's what heals for me. I have turned all my negative things that's happened into my life into positive influences on other people's life. And it took me a long time to get to that point. But I always try to tell people before I close out a session, number one, tell your story. If you just write it down in a journal, it's important just to tell it, to let it out. And there's a lot of healing in that. And claim it. I had to name it. When I finally said I am a victim of child abuse, the weight literally just fell off me, because that was a major thing, because I spent all of my adult life up to that point looking at people being very successful at Baylor College of Medicine, other jobs I had, and just giving them a thumbs up and going, hey, I'm fine, how are you? And I was the happiest person in the office, but I was lying to everybody and myself. And I had to reach out and finally get help, because it was tearing me up on the inside.
Wow. And I know, reading your book, you just cry through so much of it, or you can't help but have empathy and want to get up and do something because of how well written your book is. Does it matter your age when you decide to heal from childhood trauma in the most appropriate modalities, or is healing simply healing? It doesn't matter what age you are.
Well, healing, simply healing. But I love the research of the brain that has the ability to always heal itself. The plasticity of the brain is amazing. And even though the trauma has sometimes affected our neurons there, with the right help, those neurons can grow back and heal back. And I'm an example of that. I had so much damage, but it comes back. So there's ability for that always to be able to heal itself. We have an unbelievable brain and that ability for it to do that. But I think I've talked to people all around the country, some 65, 70 years old, that came up to me and said, it happened to me and I never told anybody either, but there's still hope. I always offer, there's still hope. Let's get you help now. And I have a free counseling line that they can call me anonymously. I talk to people around the world all the time. I'm the only one that answers the phone, and they can call and just tell me the story. They don't even have to give me their name. But while they're telling me the story, I try to find out what part of the country they're from and try to find a good resource for them. by the time we get off the phone, hey, looks like there's a good place here. Call this number to get additional help. And but no, it's never too late to get help.
So if somebody wanted to take advantage of that, Gregory, your free counseling line, how would they contact you for that?
Well, I used to give them the number that's on my webpage. You can actually go to the webpage, and there is a tab that says share your story. And you can, the number's right there. Or it just rings my cell phone, and my literal personal cell phone number that you can call right now, and I'm the one going to answer it, is 832-396-6525. And I answer that 24/7, unless I'm in a hospital setting and I have a meeting or something. But they can leave a message, and I'll call them back, and it's free of charge. And I'll be glad to talk to him. Or they can just reach out to me on my email, or they can write me at GAWILLI and the number 1 at texaschildrens.org. And I answer every email. I try to within 15-20 minutes. So, my world's not that big yet that I can't handle all of these myself. But I love doing that.
Now, all of that information that Dr. Gregory Williams just gave us is also available for those of you that are used to going to my website, knowthename.com, on the schedule page on today's date, where it highlights that he is the guest. All of that information is there for you to make it really easy to remind you his website and all of that other good information. Gregory, you travel all around the world making a difference, talking with groups and sharing your book, Shattered by the Darkness. And I'm telling you, you definitely need, I don't care who you are, you need a box of Kleenex for that one. If someone wanted to have you speak at their group, what would they need to do?
Yeah, just reach out to me. Call me. I went to some place not too long ago in Arkansas for $200, and it cost me $400 to get there and back home. So I lost $200, but it's not about the money, Sharon, and I think you know that. Some people are in this for the right reasons. It's not about the money; it's about the message. And when I get the opportunity to go anywhere in this country or world, I usually always say yes, and whatever their budget is, I'll work out a way to get there and back. And Baylor College of Medicine supports me in this. In a major way, so they help me and they let me have off work, and they are behind me 100% on this. And the sale of my books helps me get to another destination and another group that I can talk to and speak with. So it's just a wonderful opportunity. I will go anywhere. I love it.
I love that. And speaking of your book, tell us about your book, Shattered by the Darkness. You wrote it. It was kind of a catharsis for you. Yeah. I think it's almost a catharsis for anyone who's had that experience as they're reading it and getting through that book.
Yeah, I had it written as a journal, and I started, the first little prelude in it is my nightmare that I have. I only sleep about an hour and a half, 2 hours a night. And I try to get 2 of those little power naps before I get up and walk around. So, 3-4 hours a night is all I get of sleep a day. And because if I sleep too long, I still have these horrific nightmares from my child abuse. And that first little prelude in there is my dream. That's the actual nightmare that I have if I sleep too long. And then I take it from my first memory all the way through my adulthood to when my father dies. And then I go into the emotions that I deal with and had trouble with. So PTSD, OCD, shame, guilt, rage, all of those emotions. And I was writing it. And as I was writing it, I would send a chapter at a time to my boys that didn't know about this. And they were reading chapter 1 and go, "Oh, Dad, we didn't know this." And I said, "Well, chapter 2 is coming when I'm finished with it." And when I got to chapter 6, I remember my middle son said, "Dad, when's this going to stop?" And I said, "Well, about chapter 6, chapter 7, it starts ending and there's light at the end of the tunnel. So hang in there, Blake. He said, well, if I didn't know you, I would have thought, oh my God, this is terrible.
Well, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was, but at least he knows
He knows you now.
He knows me now. So I really wrote this after that to reveal to my kids, but then also for the victims. I get a lot of emails from people saying, I know now that I'm not crazy. The thoughts of me looking in the mirror and wanting to pull my hair out, things that seem so abnormal, isn't as abnormal as I thought. I'm okay. And
guys, if you want to heal, if you want to know if you've had any of these experiences yourself, shattered by the darkness, it just as it was a catharsis for Gregory, it can be a catharsis for you. It's an amazing book and so well written. Gregory, I just want to thank you so much for being on our show tonight. It's a pleasure having you on.
It's an honor. And Sharon, immediately when I met you about a year ago, I immediately had a magnet inside of me towards you, and I think you towards me, because we just hooked up a conversation. Although I think you could talk to a doorknob like I could and have a pretty good conversation with it.
Of course.
But I did. I just appreciate your friendship, and looking forward to many, many years of continued friendship down the road.
Ditto. Absolutely ditto. Okay, everyone, be prepared and very surprised and pleased if you get to experience Gregory Williams' work. His website, again, is the name of his book, shatteredbythedarkness.com. Now, Gregory's name excels at making a change in the world. That's shown in the G's in his name. If you have G's anywhere in your name, you too are able to make a significant change in how people think and how they heal. Do you want to know where your genius lies? Go to knowthename.com and sign up for a session. This is Sharon Lynn Wyeth signing off.
With a passion for divination, Cooch Daniels, lifelong professional reader and author, invites you on a mystical journey on the Mystics, Oracles, and Divination radio show. During her time with you, you'll meet visionaries, readers, energy lightworkers, and healers who work with the tarot and other oracles. As a psychic guide, Cooch Daniels will be seeking to discover both New Age and traditional methods to deepen your mutual understanding of how you can further awaken your intuition and abilities to work with your divinatory channels. Cooch will end each hour of her show answering your questions and a meditative contemplation for prosperity, well-being, and good fortune. Join Cooch Daniels and her guests on the Mystics, Oracles, and Divination radio show at www.xzbn.net, and you can always email Cooch at mysticarts4you@yahoo.com. That's MYSTICARTS, the number 4, @yahoo.com. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.